Hi and welcome to Scuba. Today's topic is the second episode for the Fantasea FA6500 for the Sony A6300 and A6500 series. Today I want to show you how we can fit in the A6300 body inside the housing, including the conversion kit. I put it in the conversion kit already in the housing, but I filmed that for you. So I'm now able to show you in detail where you have to look at and what kind of stuff you need to change, just because there are some slight difference in regards to the A6500 body to the A6300 camera body. If you haven't seen the first episode of my unboxing for the Fantasea, I will just pop it up in the right or left corner in the video, and then you can have a look at the unboxing of the Fantasea FA6500 Housing. You should look that first if you have not done that already. Okay, so let's jump right into the conversion kit. So let's start. Okay, but before we are jumping right into the conversion kit, I want to show you how you can swap the old shutter button with the extended shutter release lever. This is just a slightly longer button. So if you're using a two-handed diving rig for your camera housing, I believe it's easier to access the shutter, the extended shutter in this case. So now I just want to show you how you can easily change this button in a few steps. The first thing is you just need to loosen the screw on the old shutter button. For that you can just use the delivered screwdriver which you can find within the conversion kit. After that we can easily remove the old shutter. And as you can see, here's this small metal rectangle which makes it pretty easy to attach the new longer extended shutter. So you don't do anything wrong, you can't mount it in a wrong way. So let's unpack the new shutter button, and there's also a new screw delivered within. Just remove the paper and then you can see the screw. Okay, then you just need to be sure that the rectangle from the camera housing and the rectangle of the new shutter button is just fitting in each other. And you can't mount it in a wrong position or whatever. It's just fitting that one way, so you don't need to be scared that you can do anything wrong. But the only thing I want to let you know is don't over tight the screw, because then it's just loose and you can't fix it anymore. So be a little bit careful, it's just plastic. So now the new shutter is mounted. That was easy. But now we want to focus on the first custom button, the C1. This is the first part we want to change out of the conversion kit for the A6300 body. So as you can see, the C1 button is a little bit different positioned in regards to the A6500. So in this case we need to change the first part out of the conversion kit. As you can see here, this small plastic part, this longer tube, is the new pusher which needs to be mounted inside the housing. After we identified in the conversion kit which part needs to change, we also need to locate in the camera body where the C1 button is located. So we need to open the housing and find where the location of the C1 button is. So now you have located the C1 button. In the next part you need to identify the C-washer where this plastic part is mounted with. This C-washer needs to be removed before you can unplug the old plastic part. The easiest way to remove the C-washer is using a small tongue. I wouldn't recommend using just the screwdriver to remove it, because you can easily break some plastic parts and you don't want to do that. So I will just remove the C-washer now and then I will come back to you. So as you can see, I have removed the C-washer. So now we are able to pull down the small plastic part. Yes, you can see here, I will just show it a little bit more in detail. Yeah, there the C-washer is not attached anymore. So now you can pull down, but take it easy, pull down the plastic part without whipping it into two parts. Because it could be that you need that later on if you want to attach an A6500 or something. So sometimes it's a little help if you just press down the C1 button on top of the housing, and then you have easier access to that plastic part. Okay, now we need to open the conversion kit and find the small plastic tube which needs to be added to the housing now. The only thing you need to do is just push the new plastic part on the old position, yeah, just that it's tight and fit. There's a little bit of space in between the plastic tube and the housing, but that's normal. the function is working fine. You can test that afterwards. You don't need to push it too strong, because I believe then you can just break it. As you can see here, there's a little gap in between the plastic housing and the tube itself. So this looks fine and it's working fine. So now we need to change something on the shutter button. As you can see here, we have this little rubber attached to the inner shutter button, and this plastic or rubber knob just needs to be taken out, because otherwise we are too close to the button when we are pressing it. So we just need to grab this with our fingers and pull it out of the plastic holder. As you can see here now, it's just out. Put it beside if you need that for further or future housings, and that's ready to go now. The next piece we need to talk about is the power switch. When you're moving the power switch on top, you see it moving inside the housing. That makes it easier to locate it. And also here you have this plastic part, and this is held by a C-washer. So we need to demount the C-washer. Yeah, just use a small tongue again and remove the C-washer, and then you are able to pull down this plastic part from the power switch. As you can see, I removed the C-washer, and now we can try to pull down the plastic part from the power switch. Here you can see it's loosened already. Yeah, here it is. And now we just need to locate the new plastic part out of the conversion kit. So here it is, and as you can see, there's not a real big difference in between. The new one is just a little bit longer and not so wide as the other thing. Okay, put the old one beside and save it for future needs. And now we need to just pull on the new part, and as you can see here, there's also a small rectangle in, so it's again not really possible to mount it in a wrong way. You just need to, you see, just combine these parts fitting to each other. One rectangle needs to fit in the other rectangle, and then put the C-washer back on again so that it can't fall off again, and then you are fine to go. That's then the power shutter. In the next step, we want to focus on the record button on the back of the camera housing. If you press on the record button, you can see it's pretty easy to allocate the plastic piece inside the back door. So here also again you need to remove the C-washer, and then it's pretty easy to remove the plastic part. As you can see here, the C-washer is already gone, and now it's pretty easy to just pull the plastic part apart. And there you see it's gone. One thing you need to be aware of, there's also a C-washer attached beneath it. You are not allowed to remove that, because if you remove that, it could be possible that you break the water sealing of the housing, and that's something you really don't want to do. Okay, in the next step you just need to find the new plastic piece inside of the conversion kit, and then you can just slide it into the position where the old one was, put the C-washer on, and you're ready to go for the next part. Now we just need to attach a small rubber stopper in front of the housing. As you can see here, there's a small gap, a round circle where you can put a small rubber in, this one out of the conversion kit. This is just a stopper which will stop the body of the camera in regards that the body cannot slide too deep into the housing, because you need to have this distance which this rubber will provide between housing and the camera body itself. So this is just a small rubber thing with a glue behind, so you can just find the position where it needs to glued in, press it on, and that's it. The easiest part of the whole conversion kit. Okay, now we only have a few stickers left in the conversion kit. This is just because the A6500 in regards to the A6300 has the difference in the custom buttons. So you can just change the stickers on top of it. that everything fits fine, or you can just keep it like it is because the function is the same. It's just the sticker on top telling you what's real inside. Okay, as you can see, the conversion kit was not really a big deal, but now we want to put in the A6300 camera body inside that housing. But before we do that, we need to be aware of something. So if we turn on the camera and we are just putting something in front of the viewfinder, you can see that the display will turn black. And that's something we need to avoid in the camera housing. Because if the housing is in front of the viewfinder, it will turn black. So we need to jump into the options of the viewfinder or the monitor, and we need to switch the function from auto mode to the manual mode so that only the monitor is working in the background. So if we now put something in front of the viewfinder, the display will stay on and not turn off like it is in the default settings. The next thing is, before we are sliding in the camera inside the housing, we will be sure that we put everything or every button to the default values. So I'm putting the program wheel to auto, and I will also put the program wheel on the camera housing also to auto, that I have the same position. And also the power switch will be turned off, as also the switch on the camera body itself is also turned to off. Now we need to take out the camera mount of the housing. This needs to be attached now to the camera body of our A6300 or A6500. As you can see, there's this small screw on the mount. This will fit to every camera. You can just pull it in by this thumb screw, but before you do that, you need to do one thing, and you just need to flip out the monitor screen a little bit, because otherwise you will just, you will just squeeze the display a little bit. You don't want to do that, so flip it out a little bit, and then you can push the display back until it hits the mount of the camera. Okay, after we are sure that the mount is built in properly, we can just grab our housing again to slide in the camera body. Be sure that the lock mechanism is unlocked, and then you are able to take the body and slide it in carefully inside the camera and lock the camera. But before closing the housing, you really should see and test if every button is functioning perfectly and everything is fitting and nothing is getting squeezed or something, that you did something wrong within the process of the conversion kit. While closing the backlit, you should be not putting too much pressure on it, just see if everything is going smooth. Then you can close the switch of the right side of the housing, close the housing, and we are ready to go to turn on the camera the first time. And here we see, woohoo, it's working! The camera is turning on, and we can test the buttons probably. I will now not test every button, I will do that later, but as we can see, it was not really hard to put in the camera body to the Fantasea FA6500 housing. So we can turn out the camera for now, and now we are ready for the next steps. Yeah, what should I say? Until now I'm really happy with the housing. The conversion kit for the A6300 was really easy to build in. Every plastic piece was easy to mount and it's still in place. So this is nothing what needs rocket science knowledge, I believe. Okay, long enough now. In the next episode we will talk about the flat port for the cell 16 to 50mm kit lens, what we have here on our body mounted. And this in combination with the lens gear wing, so that we have the possibility to zoom the lens. But this is a topic for the next episode, so if you liked this video and if you like the conversion kit and the housing as I am doing, then please send me a thumbs up for that video and send me a subscription for my YouTube channel. That would support me a lot. So yeah, I would be happy to see you next time. Thanks for watching, bye bye.